John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. Spent time at FICO and Equifax. 3 decades of credit experience, actually from the credit industry. So today we're going to kind of do some comparison. The comparison between having bad credit and no credit, meaning what's worse? Is it worse to have bad credit or is it worse to have no credit? Good question. So the practical impact of both is really the same. If you have bad credit, then you stand the chance of being denied when you make applications. Or if you are approved, you are likely going to get punitive rates and terms, which means you're going to get lousy rates and terms. If you have no credit, you're kind of going to get treated the same way. Having no credit means no credit report, no credit score. You have no footprint in the world of consumer finance or thumbprint in the world of consumer finance. And so lenders have to treat you like you're subprime. I mean, they can't just infer that you're a good credit risk because respectfully, you haven't proven that you're a good credit risk. So then the question is as well, how do I deal with those things? So what does bad credit mean? Bad credit is really in the eyes of the banks. Banks are the ones that essentially assess the creditworthiness of an applicant. So they're the ones who are going to make the judgment as to whether or not you've got bad credit. I think we can make some general statements. So people who have FICO and Vantage score credit scores that are, for example, below 700, that's going to be below average, even though people might think those are good scores. They're not. Those are scores that are below average, and the closer you get kind of to 680 and below, the closer you get to what's referred to as subprime, which means you're at elevated credit risk. You start getting into the low 600s, you start getting into the high 500s, and then you really, any reasonable definition of the term bad credit, that's going to apply to you. People who have scores in the mid 700s and higher are generally considered to be elite level borrowers, meaning that they pay their bills on time, they don't default, and they obviously are rewarded accordingly. No credit. What is having no credit? Well, the definition of the term is exactly what the term indicates. You either have no credit report because you've either chosen to live off the credit grid. Congratulations, that's hard to do. Or you are what the CFPB refers to as a credit invisible. And a credit invisible is someone who has a very, very limited amount of credit, maybe 1 trade line, 2 trade lines, and maybe the credit reports are so young or perhaps so inactive and stale that you don't have a credit score. So even though you may have some limited amount of a fingerprint in the world of credit reporting, for all practical purposes, it's not really good enough for you to command really good interest rates and terms. And so again, if you compare bad credit and no credit, you kind of get the same issue. You're just getting there through 2 different ways. So obviously you're going to want to, the bad credit has to be addressed. It doesn't just magically go away overnight. It will magically go away, but it'll take 7 years for it to magically go away. So that's something that you're going to want to keep in mind. It's a whole lot easier to protect an existing good credit report than it is to rebuild a poor credit report. And so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you need to pay your bills on time. You didn't need to watch this video to understand that that's the best way for someone to ensure that their credit reports don't become polluted with derogatory information. But if you needed to hear it again, then there you go. You got to hear it again. The no credit is a little bit of a different fish that you're going to have to fry. And if you've chosen for whatever reason to live off the credit grid, and you've chosen to not open credit cards, and you've chosen to not take out a car loan, if you were successful in avoiding student loans, then A, congratulations. And then B, the problem is that you don't have a resume, a credit resume. And so it's almost like when you go looking for your first job, if your resume is either blank or it doesn't really have anything meaningful on it, employers don't look at that kindly. They want to see experience. And I get it. It's a little bit of the chicken and the egg argument. What came first? How do I get credit if I don't have credit? How do I get a job if I've never had a job? I understand it, but that's a dilemma that we've all had to deal with. It's not unique to you or to any one particular person. So the way you deal with no credit is the authorized user strategy, is the secured card strategy, is the cosigner strategy, which I've talked about ad nauseum in these other videos, and they all can result in people from going from little to no credit to having some sort of voluminous credit report, and therefore they're going to get better treatment from lenders. So there you have it from here, the comparison of bad credit to no credit, kind of the same as far as the practical impact. If you have any other questions, drop them in the section below. I'll do my best to get to them. Thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.